11 kilometers per second is known as the escape velocity. It is the amount of force or speed that one must travel in order to escape the Earth's gravity. And so the reason I use that term is because in order to soar, to become a star, to reach out into the heavens, you have to escape the forces that bear you down. The biggest of which is fear of judgment of others, and then our addiction to comfort. In this YouTube channel, what I do is I discuss the things that must be done for us to reach our potential. No one comes onto this earth. I think there is temperaments. I think we are born with temperaments, but what differentiates the human animal from other animals is that we have the ability to be whatever the hell we want. Like we can switch things up because ultimately the most powerful thing that we have is our brains and not the hormones or whatever proclivities that we come up with. And so, it's not to say like you can become LeBron James and act physically and do physical things like LeBron James, but you can behave and like LeBron James. You could be a successful businessman like LeBron James. You could take some of the principles that he has lived by, applying your own unique talents to it. But any case, you want to fully inhabit who you are and then be consistent about getting work done. So what I want to talk about now is how to do that, how to consistently get work done. And one of the biggest challenges to getting work done is when have set out what work has to be done, like what work the person you want to be does. And that's very important. Like a lot of times we talk about like affirmations, what are things we want to have, like what is it, manifesting reality and all that good stuff, all good and great. But really, it's not about the what you have or who you are. And from my perspective, affirmations and things like that, the way that I do them is about understanding the person who I want to become. People talk about like the personas, and like shoot, I'm gonna need to find the book on this, but there is a really good book on this that talks about like taking on a persona. What's the name of this dude? He's on Time Billion, but and that's something that they take on every time that it's like a tool that is used for whatever it is that that person has to perform, but it's something that I feel like needs to be a daily practice until you actually truly believe it in your head. But in any case, like when you are inhabiting the values of that person that you want to be, which ultimately should be your best self, there should be a reason why you want to be that person. Maybe it's some level of inspiration, whatever it is. There's a reason why that person is who you're aiming after. That's closely, I believe, not necessarily closely associated with something that you feel like you are. Um, ultimately, who you are ultimately. And so when you're now behaving like that person by taking on their values, there are things that you are going to now say, here's what I do. It's either going to be hard for you to do. Well, it's going to be hard for you to do. Because if it was easy, you're just probably just doing it. Those are the things that are going to be hard for you to do. Either because you don't want to do them, or because there's something that you want to do that is contradictory to the behaviors and values that that person who you are going to become does. All right. So, for example, for the one where you're doing something contradictory, let's say you don't want to be going out late at night partying because you should be taking your ass to bed so you can wake up early and get some work done. Now, when the time comes, your friends or whatever are like, damn, let's stay out, or you just don't feel like going to sleep. It's not a habit that you have yet. Like, we have this thing where we just want to stay up. Like, we don't want the day to end, because then, oh fuck, the next day comes in, it's like more work. Or I don't know. I think it's like, damn, time is slipping away. Like, where's all this time? And it may be because we don't feel satisfied with the time that we just had. I don't know exactly what it is, but whatever is the reason, we don't want to take ourselves to sleep, or we want to continue the night. We want to go out and party. And that may be contradictory to your ultimate goals. So one of the things that you want to do when you set that is to imagine those types of scenarios. You know that they're coming. Do not get caught off guard. When those times come, you have to have already set up how you're going to respond to it. You need to envision, right, this is going to happen. I'm not going to want to go to sleep. I want to watch that last episode of whatever the hell I was watching and binging on it. What do I do when that happens? Here's what I'm going to say to myself. Here's what I'm going to do. And here's how I'm going to make sure that, I'll let my friends know ahead of time, this is what I'm doing nowadays. Going to sleep early. And then you act on it. If you already have that planned out, you already see it coming, you don't get caught off guard, you continue to act in the way that you want to. The second thing, the second issue with behaving like the person that you want might be something that you don't want to do. A lot of times it's what you don't want to do. And I can tell you, I wake up early as hell in the morning, and there are times like, why am I doing this? And literally, and this is the reason why I wanted to make this, is like literally, like I feel myself being, like my mood lowering. Like I feel like, and it's not necessarily all the time, but it's so when I don't feel, and this is important because we're gonna get to this. It's when I don't feel like I know precisely what it is that I'm going to be doing. So bear with me for a second. So one of the things that you want to do is set up what you're going to be doing the day before, right? Every day, you understand, you wake up. This is part of the reason why people have these morning routines that do this, that, and the third, so it's like when an alarm rings, you're not saying to yourself, damn, do I really need to get up today? Do I? Like, you know there's a routine. It's either you're going to do the routine or you're not. And if, it's much easier to have binary choices. And even if it's going to be hard, one day you're going to be like, all right, I'm going to do this today. And then consistency is going to come when you're like, okay, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. You have that morning routine. But then that morning routine only gets you so far. Now you got to actually think about, what exactly am I going to do for my work? So having planned what you're going to be doing the day before, and having a time block, very important. You don't actually, people have a lot of to-do lists. I have to accomplish things. What you want to do instead to get you into the flow of saying, I got this done, is just to have a time block of how long you're going to be working on something. Because that's something that, you're definitely you can almost always accomplish by just actually working those hours uninterrupted, right? For 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, you're gonna be working on this thing. And as long as you complete those 2 hours, not complete whatever was supposed to have been done, but complete those 2 hours, you're gonna be like, well, I know I did complete those 2 hours. And those are things that help you with your dopamine and helps you to feel good. And so what a lot of people have talked about, and a lot of you have probably heard about, like, these dopamine hits. People talk about it. I've talked about it, like, going on Instagram or playing little distraction games. They help with your dopamine hit. It makes you feel good. It's like a drug. And so a lot of people have said that dopamine is the feel-good drug, and it is associated with feeling good. But I think, from my understanding and what I've seen, is dopamine is released and allows you to feel good whenever you feel like you're on the right track, you're making progress towards something. And the reason why, like, a Instagram or distraction video games make you feel like you're on the right track is because it's associated with familiarity. I'm familiar with this. I know what I'm doing here. Or it may be associated with, because it's not all the time that you like, there's also a lot of studies that say, social media make you feel terrible about yourself because you're sitting here looking at other people's curated lives and all that other stuff. So it's not just that. It's like feeling like you feel comfortable that this is, whatever it is that you're doing, you know what it is that you're doing, right? You don't have to kind of figure it out. Obviously also getting likes makes you feel like you're making progress towards, being a liked person, which every one of us wants. And so that's what dopamine is. Like whenever it is that you feel like you're making progress, you feel that. So whenever it is that you don't feel like you know what the hell you're doing, it's like, God, I feel lost. If you feel like you know the direction you're going in, dopamine, like I'm making progress towards this destination. If you feel lost, if you're like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing, that's why the biggest issue that people have in terms of getting things done is not knowing what the heck to do. Like, I don't know what to do, and you're sitting there lost. And people hate that. That's why, like, if you're going to make a lot of money, if you're going to be the person who is in the lead, not the grunt worker, your job is to figure out what the hell the direction should be so you can tell other people to just be like, here's the work that you do. This is why, CEOs get paid a lot of money. You have to figure out what to do. Like, people don't know what to do. That's why we even have, this is why this business of coaching exists. What the hell do I do? It's a big thing. It is one of the issues, the things that uses a lot of our brain power. So when you are not feeling like you know what's happening, you get depressed. I don't know if I want to use that word because that's, like a clinical word, but like you get down. Like I noticed myself, like, a day or two ago I had to get up and I was doing something that was not in line with what my plan was, but it was like something that came up that I had to freaking get up and go and do. And that, like, getting up and not doing what I had planned made me just feel down. Like, God damn, I feel like I'm not moving in the direction that I want to be moving in. And so when that happened, I had to think through it and figure out, wow, I realized, and that's another thing too, real quickly, is that you have to start to pay attention to your feelings and what's happening, so that way you can think very big and like figure out how you personally behave, and then have strategies to maximize how you perform, to maximize how you feel, and all that good stuff. And so what I realized is, damn, I was feeling bad. What the hell does this mean? And this is why I'm now doing this video. It's like, okay, well, I recognize all of these things about dopamine and all that stuff. Yes, I'm feeling like, I'm not going in a direction, potentially even going backwards. Or I wasn't, but it was more like stagnant in the sense that, okay, here's if you go this way, you're going in this direction, but now you got to stop here and handle something. So you're not moving in this direction. And kind of made me feel like it was going backwards, and that made me feel bad. And so I had to tell myself, and this is the recommendation here, is that you have to remind yourself when that happens. You have to remind yourself why it is that you're doing that. If you are doing it for a specific purpose, you have to say, for example, okay, I have to get this done because that gets me to be able to move forward and continue down this path. And you remind yourself that there is a direction, there is a plan, you do know what's going on, and that gives you, the means of getting that dopamine back in, so that you're not feeling bad. And so that's exactly what I had to do. Okay, I have to handle this so I can get, back to my plan, getting back to what I needed to get done. So, yeah, so I think, essentially getting things done, there are a couple of different things. It's like making sure that you know what you're going to be doing the day before, making sure you plan for when it is that the things that you are habituated to that you don't want to do anymore because you're changing who you are. You know how to address it when it comes along, so you're not caught off guard. If, on the other hand, that you know, you have to do something that's unexpected, and you know, you're kind of feeling bad as a result, you need to now tell yourself, you need to remind yourself of the plan. You need to remind yourself of the person who you want to be. And that's part of why it's so important to, you know, your affirmations, not who, what do I want, but who am I going to be? Because you become this person by behaving like that person consistently. And so another thing that gets people to stop doing something is they don't know if it's working, right? What do I do is like from the beginning, but you also, when you start doing something and you don't see results, for example, immediately, you know, you haven't become this person right away, or you're working out and you haven't seen the freaking abs, you know, 2 weeks from when you started, or, you know, you're starting to put on your videos and you don't have a 1,000 likes right away, or you started to, you know, reach out to a whole bunch of people to sell your product, and you haven't gotten to become a millionaire right away, even though people are telling you, listen, it's got to be consistent, you got to keep doing it. Like, you can also start to feel like you're lost again. And so if you are working on becoming a person as opposed to acquiring some kind of thing, material or otherwise, then you can say to yourself, well, I have to consistently do this to develop the habit. I have to consistently do this to get to where I'm going, and constantly reminding yourself of who you're going to become. So that is, you know, my little spiel for today. As I said, you know, you might see this in a couple of different videos, so I can put it out. But thank you for your time. It's the most precious resource that we have in this world. So appreciate you.